Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and I know I need to get back to releasing videos more often, but I have been gaming a lot. I do have plenty to talk about. I just have to get it on film. One thing I've been doing a lot recently, actually, is playing co-op games with my colleagues because I have people to play with all day, every day now, and it's pretty fantastic. So there are three cooperative games I've played a lot recently that I thought were a lot of fun. I'm going to just kind of name them in rough 3, 2, 1 order. Although obviously this isn't a review, I'm just talking about three games that I've actually played and really enjoyed recently. But let's just go ahead and get to it. Let's get down to business. So in my number three spots, I'm going to put Wilmot's Warehouse. So Wilmot's Warehouse is like memory on steroids. It's a cooperative memory game where you've got these tiles that have shapes on them that are evocative of different things, but you could interpret a lot of them in multiple ways. And you and your friends are placing them face down on a large grid across several rounds. And in each round, there are a lot of challenges. Like maybe only one person actually sees the tile and they have to tell everybody what's on it. or maybe you have to describe everything in relation to food or to some other thing while you're placing the tiles. So it changes your collective language for describing what you're putting down in the warehouse and what you're hiding. And then at the end, you have to collectively figure out what was where, and you're timing yourself, and you get time penalties for every mistake you make. So I really enjoy this game because I do have a good memory. So I like memory games in general, but I really, really love playing it with friends because it's just so stupid. Like the stories that you come up with to try to connect everything together, it's so funny to see like what you thought of, what your friends thought of, how you're figuring out how to communicate with each other in this way that is a little bit unnatural, but I feel like you still really get to know the people that you're playing with because you can see like what mental associations they make. You really kind of start to groove together. And I really think that that is satisfying. If I were still in the classroom, I would absolutely buy Wilmot's Warehouse to play with my students as well, probably in Latin, because I think making them agree on Latin words for what the various shapes are would be hilarious, and it would be fun to watch them do that as part of a memory game. So I can see other uses for it and still, but I've just been enjoying playing it with my friends at work, and it has been a blast. The second cooperative game I want to flag because it's been so awesome is The Gang, which I have now pre-ordered. I played it. I immediately went and pre-ordered it. We've been playing Cole's copy, which he bought at Gen Con by accidentally ending up in line for it, and I swear it's like the best accidental purchase ever. So The Gang is a cooperative game that involves poker hands. So basically, you're all playing Texas Hold'em. You all have your own little pocket of two cards, and then the different cards come up. And as more cards are revealed, you assess what you think the relative value of your hand might be, and you grab chips indicating your confidence in that. And so, what you are doing is you, as a group, without looking at each other's hands and without being able to divulge any details, you're trying to order your hands from worst hand to best hand. But of course, you don't know what everyone else has. So, you have to kind of fight over the chips to indicate your confidence or lack thereof levels about what you've got. And what results is so ridiculous. Like, we're not very good at it. Other groups I talked to are like, oh, well, we got everything right every time. And I just don't know how you do that because we will like get 3 out of 4 and mess up. But, it's still a really, really good time. So basically, the game is you're playing poker together by trying to assess your relative confidences about the hand that you're holding. And then if you lose, you get little helps to try to make you do better on the next round. If you win, you get little punishments that just continue to make things worse and harder for you as you proceed. So the game will adjust to your ability level in ways that are quite mean. And I also really do like that for a cooperative game. Cooperative games are supposed to be hard because you're all banding together to beat the game. So if it's, that's exactly how it should be working. So I really like The Gang. I'm actually thinking about getting it for my family for Christmas this year because everybody in the family knows how to play poker. That's the other thing I really like about this particular game is that poker is one of those games that a huge portion of the population in and outside of board gaming knows how to play. And so it's so easy to communicate what's supposed to happen because there's like base cultural knowledge for poker. And I really, really like that because it means that the game will be easier to port to audiences that aren't just hobby gamer audiences. So I could see this as a very legit holiday game for a lot of families because I don't know about y'all, but I grew up playing poker for candy around a dining room table in the summers, when I went and hung out with my family. So I think The Gang is fantastic because it's a twist on a game that most people know. And it's a fun twist that actually like adds different layers of thought in ways that I think are very satisfying. And then my top mention for for this video, because I'm just obsessed with it, is infiltrators. It's spelled Traitors, infiltrators. So infiltrators is also a game that's like very basic because it's just based on numbers and suits. What you have is a deck of cards that has 5 different suits, and each suit has cards 1 through 15, and you're all playing out of the same deck that operates as your timer, but players will do what's called nabbing a suspect. So you just pull a card from that deck that's your suspect, and then you have to give information about what cards you have by laying down other cards from the deck. So if the card shares a suit or a number, then you will put the card vertically. And if it shares nothing in common with the card that you're holding, then you put the card horizontally. And then everybody else needs to deduce what you're hiding from the clues that you're trying to give. And because factors and multiples are also allowed to be considered number matches, the numbers can get a little bit more complicated. So the game's not just totally simplistic, and it leads to some really interesting kind of guessing and ways of laying cards to try to get people to go to the correct conclusion. And I like this game a lot because there's really not a lot to it, and yet the thinking, the figuring out how to communicate with each other, you can hand somebody one of your cards as like a question, and they have to lay it in accordance with what they have, so you can actually try to like fish for information. All of this together is a really, really good time, and it's one of those games that's so simple that you don't expect it to be engaging as it truly is, but then you play it and you're like, oh my god. So I played a copy that I think was published in China. So this was a game that did not get a wide release, at least not initially, and it was something that some people just got at conventions. So my friend Ryan brought his copy. He wanted to try it out. It was freaking great. So much so that I went around to see if I could get a copy. I couldn't get one of the original printings, but there's like a Pandasaurus re-release localization that you can pre-order, but I pre-ordered it and it showed up like that week. I will say the Pandasaurus edition is not as nice as the original. The original has these nice little wooden blocks that'll hold your suspect card up for you so you can always see it, and there's just little touches that indicate a little bit more love and care. But the copy that I have is totally serviceable. I played it with my parents and my boyfriend while my parents were visiting over Labor Day weekend, and we had a really, really good time. So those are the 3 cooperative games I've been really into recently. So Wilmot's Warehouse, The Gang, and Infiltrators. And I think what makes them all great is that they're based on these really simple gaming concepts, memory, poker, just suit and number, things that a wide variety of people can be expected to know about games or cards. And then they twist them in ways that bring a lot of delight and that add a lot of extra sort of playtime and interest to these simple concepts that are easy to teach because most people already know them. I also want to give an honorable mention for a game that is not cooperative, but we have been playing at work a lot, and I love it. So this channel is called Beyond Solitaire. So if you want to go beyond normal solitaire, this is another way to do it that doesn't involve playing by yourself, apparently, because we've been playing a ton of Nertz. Nertz, and basically everybody gets a different deck of cards, and you need to make sure that the card decks look distinctive because it matters for your scoring. So you need to have decks that are a different color on the back, or that have, I got a cat deck to contribute to our communal games of Nertz now. But Nertz is basically a competitive solitaire game where you have your own little layout of cards, and there's a stack of face down cards that you're trying to get rid of. So you're playing normal solitaire at your spot on the table. But whenever you draw an ace, you put it in the middle. And instead of doing that normal, descending black, red, in solitaire, on the aces, you're playing same suit in ascending order. So if there's an ace of hearts, the next card to play on that is a 2 of hearts, 3 of hearts, 4 of hearts. So you are watching for other people to put aces down so that you can get rid of cards that you're holding that might go there. So your little deck of 13 cards is off to the side is your actual goal. You want to get rid of it. So the first person who manages to flip over and deploy all of those cards, has an empty stack, goes Nertz. The game ends. You get negative points for everything that's still in your stack. It happens to me a lot still. And then you score 1 positive point for every card you played to the aces in the middle. So a really good score would be from having an empty or mostly empty stack with a ton of stuff that's played to the aces in the center. And it's so simple. It's just solitaire, but it's very, very enjoyable. And if somebody says Nertz, everybody in the office perks up and they all go get a deck of cards and get ready to play Nertz. The first time I played it was with like 7 people. It was absolutely crazy and I loved it. So there you go. 3 cooperative games and 1 bonus non-cooperative game that is a solitaire variant, but it's not solitaire. So I will be getting back to some solo game coverage soon. I've got plans to do some filming this week. But I wanted to fill you. Yes, I'm still out here. Yes, I'm still playing games. I'm having a great time designing for Oath. Everything's going great. I just need to get in my channel groove. So if you've got experience with any of the games I just talked about, I'm super happy to hear about it. If you have any recommendations based on what I'm saying I like at the moment, I also want to hear that. And I'll be back with some more stuff that I'm playing soon. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please like, subscribe, comment, and most of all, happy gaming.